Good morning guys, Theodore from Student Paramedics here. Now today we're going to be discussing fake tourniquets. It doesn't tension, genuinely just slides around. If you pull the sock in the same manner, tension's right off.
Program activated.
So we've got a fake soft tourniquet here, and we've got a real Gen 4, it's the only thing I'll get my hands on. We're going to be comparing the two together. We're going to be looking at things such as the anatomy, the build quality, all the different components, how they work. We're going to be looking at ease of application because it's kind of important that a tourniquet is fairly intuitive and easy to apply in order to save someone's life. And we're going to be discussing the pros versus the cons of investing in a legitimate tourniquet versus saving a lot of money and buying a fake one. And then straight off the bat, before we start even looking at these two tourniquets, it kind of blows my mind that people invest in a fake or non-FDA, non-TGA sort of approved medical device in general. For example, no one would ever go online and buy a pacemaker from some dodgy site online which has no medical approval, no certification, no endorsement by any medical authorities. A pacemaker saves someone's life, it's designed to save someone's life. And likewise, a tourniquet is a life-saving device. It's designed literally to save someone's life. So for me, it's really interesting that there's such a market for illegitimate tourniquets, especially since there's such a large and huge risk involved with their use. Say you rock up to a scene like this. Someone's had an accident, they're having an arterial bleed. You pull out your tourniquet that you bought off Amazon, and lo and behold, you try and tension it, and bang, there goes the windlass. You're left with nothing. What do? Sure, there's a lot of ways that you can improvise to restrict blood flow, but at the end of the day, it would have been better if you just had a working, genuine tourniquet. Okay, enough ranting. Now let's take a look at these two tourniquets. Again, please bear in mind that they are different models, but they both purport to be life-saving devices. So let's have a look at them, and you can tell me which one you trust more. All right, so to begin with, we're going to take a look at the anatomy of a legitimate tourniquet. So this is the SOFTT Tactical Tourniquet Wide Gen 4 by TacMed Solutions. We've got the strap, which forms the loop in which your limb goes. Moving up from there, we've got the buckle, which forms the loop. Now this is where you use the tension initially. So you can unclip that, and it's just a straight strap. You clip it in and you form the loop. So it's a fairly effective one-way tensioner. So you can pull it that way, but you can't really pull it that way unless you use two hands. Moving up from there, we have got the tensioner strap here, on which is the windlass. So that's obviously what you use to twist and shorten that tensioning strap once you've tensioned it with your hand as far as you can go on that buckle. Then you've got this retention clip here in which you can place that once you've tensioned it as far as you want to, or as far as you need to rather. You can use that retention clip, that holder there, to be able to slip on that triangle, which secures the windlass in place and stops it from flicking out of that and loosening the tourniquet potentially. So that's the SOFTT TTW Gen 4. Right, so what about this other one from a random site on the internet? Now, from the beginning, you can see it's kind of similar in terms of it's got that label there. The difference is it just has time. It's only stitched on two sides too. They're really skimped on that. This one's got superior stitching around all the edges. Doesn't really have any performance enhancing effects, but looks better, looks neater, more professional, more trustworthy, and it's got a whole bunch of other information in terms of the item number, date of manufacture. You can see the patent number. You can see this is credentialed as an effective life-saving device by a reputable manufacturer. Okay, so moving on up on this illegitimate tourniquet here, the first thing you notice actually is that the materials are quite a lot coarser. The SOFTT TW is still nylon strapping, but it's much smoother. This one is quite coarse and a little bit more brittle. It's got the same strap forming a loop for your limb there, and it's got this clip here. It's a little bit harder to unclip. Especially if you're going to be doing it one-handed, it's a little bit, yeah, you kind of need two hands for this one. The first thing that I noticed when I took this tourniquet out of the packet, I wish I'd filmed it because look at this. You can see it had all these scratches and chips on the buckle here. So that's confidence inspiring right off the bat. So as I said, you can unclip it, you can clip it, make the loop in which your limb goes. Now, this is the second thing I noticed once I put it on my limb to try and apply it. It doesn't tension. It genuinely just slides around and you can't tension it. If you pull the sock in the same manner, tension's right off like that and then loosens just as easy. This one, however, somehow you can tension it when you're holding it. It doesn't loosen as easy at all. Genuinely, I'm not even trying to fake this. It is a nightmare to use. So to actually use this, you're gonna have to press your arm against your torso and then somehow get a little bit of tension there. It's impossible to get the same amount of tension, which means you're gonna have to wind this more, which makes it more difficult. And once you start winding this, you notice, oh wait, there's no retention clip. At tension, potentially bleeding to death with heaps of catecholamines coursing through your veins, you have to try with your thumb and your forefinger to get that clip. I mean, it's hard for me now and I'm pretty calm, I'm not bleeding. Don't have any adrenaline coursing through my veins. It's near impossible. So if you're saving lives on a budget, maybe this is the tourniquet for you. Potentially not going to be saving many lives, and you're going to have a lot of difficulty saving your own life if you need to use it on yourself. Other little peculiarities about these tourniquets that you notice differences in is you can see that it's sort of fraying at the end. It's unevenly cut. It's sort of cauterized, you know, like the nylon's melted on one side and on the other side it's not, and that's why it's fraying. It's just all around real painful to use, and you don't really realize how painful it is to use until you actually try it for yourself. So as you saw before, snapping a windlass is something which does happen with fake tourniquets. I'm not a geologist, I'm not into metallurgy, but this one seems like it's metal. Don't know what kind, maybe it's aluminium. I don't think it's gonna snap just like that, like the fake cat snapped. So I went to think about how we're gonna test the strength and endurance of these tourniquets, and with your help, we came up with a plan. Check it out. All right guys, so here we are, we're outdoors. We're gonna do a strength and resilience test of the tourniquets. It's quite unconventional, but we've got 450 Newton meters of torque here, and we're gonna put the tourniquets to the test with a snatch strap and see which one holds up the most. All right guys, so as we were talking about before in the studio, we've got the real Gen 4 soft tourniquet, then we've got this fake one from a random shop online. We've got a snatch strap, and we're going to be attaching the snatch strap to the vehicle, attaching the tourniquets to that rusted old chassis over here, which is a fairly good anchor point. And then we're going to snatch and see which one holds up the longest. And by snatch, I mean, I'm not going to snatch because I don't want the tourniquet or anything to fling off. I don't have a damper, so I don't want it to fling off and dent the back of my tub tray, which is already dented enough. And by the way, I know this is unconventional. I'm in the process of getting my recovery gear together. I would never recover a vehicle by putting a snatch strap on the tow bar, but I think for the purposes of this fun video, it should be okay. Now, snatch straps are fairly long, so at least we're going to be at a safe distance once it does snap. All right, so here is the new one. Here's the fake one. So what the idea is that we're going to loop this through the snatch strap. Now, of course, I don't know what this test tells you about the clinical application of these tourniquets and how much one is better than the other, because you're never going to be putting this much force on a tourniquet. It does give us a little bit of an idea of the build quality and the materials used in manufacture. We're going to put this tail end through here. We're going to get the buckle, loop it through the snatch strap, buckle it together. And there we have it, the snatch connected to the tourniquet. We're going to try and untwist this as much as possible, and then we're going to drive forward a little bit and get it into position. All right, so we're ready. As always, safety first, safe styles are on, and we're driving. All right, so that didn't take much, literally just rolled it in, put the car into gear, and it's already gone. Let's go assess the damage. So let's see what's missing. Okay, there you go. That's the breaking point right there. It is metal, can confirm, but obviously quite low tensile. So it's snapped off right there where the buckle loops on. The buckle's gone flying as well. Don't know where that is. All right, so that's the fake one done. Let's get the real one in position and see what happens there. All right, guys, we're doing the real Gen 4 soft tourniquet here. I hope you appreciate the way that here at Student Paramedics, we use the scientific approach in testing equipment. And please give this video a thumbs up, a comment. Please engage, share it if you can, because I'm sacrificing a perfectly good soft tourniquet here for the purposes of scientific endeavor.
That's so great.
All right, so that happened fairly easily as well, but straight off the bat, notice that it did require a little bit more force. So I did put my foot down slightly. Otherwise, the vehicle was just sort of hanging on the tension of the snatch strap there in the tourniquet. Let's see where the breaking point was. All right, before we assess the damage, just walking over here now, we found the missing piece, and I've just dropped the other piece, of the fake tourniquet here. So not only did the part of the buckle snap, the other part completely warped and bent. Let's look at the real tourniquet, let's see what happens. So we've got the strap here, and we've got the buckles. Buckle's still attached, but there is a piece missing. So don't know where that went. There's a lot of leaf litter around here, so it's going to be difficult to find. But basically what looks like happened was that piece sort of pulled out. That's the piece which allows the strap when it's inside there to be tensioned in one way. So it looks like nothing broke, something might have just sort of pulled out, but that's pretty impressive. It speaks to the quality of the metals used in this tourniquet compared to the illegitimate tourniquet that we just tested there. All right guys, so just by way of comparison again, one more time, we've got the real soft tourniquet right here, the fake one here. You can see the breaking point right there where the metal buckle actually snaps. Like who knows how much force that would actually take, probably not as much as you're using to fasten on a human, but based on the previous points that we looked at in the studio in terms of what makes this tourniquet far inferior to the real soft tourniquet, I hope that you're informed and that you're going to be looking for genuine tourniquets, genuine medical devices when shopping for your own first aid and professional applications. Now the real tourniquet compared with that fake one there, breaking point was 0. Literally it just had enough force to unravel the buckle, pulling that stitch part right through it. I was literally just walking to the car and found that missing piece from the soft tourniquet. So it is a bit warped, it is a bit bent. Obviously can't be reused, but look, nothing broke, nothing snapped. It just sort of got a little bit warped, just enough for it to slip out. So that's pretty cool. All right guys, so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's informative and hope it encourages you to seek genuine, reputable medical device manufacturers, especially in something so important as tourniquet. Like we said before, you wouldn't buy a dodgy pacemaker from some unknown site just because it's $100 cheaper. In the same manner, tourniquet saves someone's life. Do yourself a favor, do other people in your care a favor, and get genuine equipment. Last but not least, as you can see, the soft tourniquet performs fairly well. It's quite easy and intuitive to use, especially compared to that atrocious thing. MyMediCrypt.com in Australia, you can get 10% off the soft tourniquet. They've got a price beat guarantee, plus you can hit them again with a 10% off. So be sure to go check them out.